Second Timothy, the first chapter and the 7th verse, which reads thus in your hearing, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. We are praying, Father in heaven, speak to us and transform our hearts. This our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. So we find this very interesting verse before us. And then with this interesting verse, we would ask ourselves, why did Paul write these words? Maybe let us understand the situation of Paul, or where Paul was when he writes this word. This is the time when Paul was imprisoned. And in the imprisonment of Paul, we realize that Paul did not do anything wrong for him to end up in prison. Of which brings to us, sometimes it seems bad to do good. I don't know if you are getting me. Sometimes doing good is bad. Or sometimes doing good leads us into trouble. Trusted God, or have you ever obeyed God into trouble? Like you did exactly what God asked of you, and then all that leads you into trouble. It doesn't lead you into safety and joy and well-being of life. And sometimes life does not become like an equation where we say 1 + 1 = 2. It turns out that 1 + 1 gives us a 3, which we don't know where it comes from. So this is the situation which Paul is in. Paul has just preached the gospel. He is delivering those who are bound. He is setting free those who are in chains. He is bringing hope to those who have lost it. He is healing the sick. He is doing good deeds. Everyone would cheer him up. And maybe we expect the leaders to call him and say, Paul, we have seen you. We have seen all your trials. And now we want to give you a certain level or a certain position so that you can continue doing good to many people. But rather, the leaders does something different. They take him into prison for doing all these good things. So, of which it brings us to this thought that, have you ever tried you said, okay, that eating meat and enjoying all these things and living healthy? God, does it make sense? So this is the situation which Paul is in. So when Paul is in prison, he finds himself in the situation whereby he's realizing that, you know what, this time around, there's no a way out. And then when he realizes that there is no a way out, and then unfortunately, in those days when he expected and he thought that's the time when people would be by his side, he realizes that, hey, people now are scattering away. Which brings us to this English which says when days are few, friends are dark. Eh? When days are dark, friends are few. So now in verse 15, that's where he says, this you know that all those in Asia have turned away from me. He is now realizing that those people who used to be his friends have now deserted him. Why? Because they also realize that, you know what, Paul's situation right now, if we are going to be acquainted with him, we will end up also in trouble. So this is why now he says, you know what, the people who I thought would be praying for me have now ran away from me. And then he realizes that, you know what, but in my situation, I am thankful. Because I realize that there is no time for me to be praying for escape. Because there is no way I'm going to escape this one. He is no longer hoping that God would deliver him from this one. That's why when you go to chapter 4, he says, you know what? In verse 6, he says, for I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have no other time to be here. My time is up. So I am writing this letter to you, Timothy. And he continues on to say, for me, I have fought a good fight. That's why you see me relaxed. That's why you see me having time to take a letter and to take a pen and a paper to write this letter to you. I am not hitting myself down. I am not blaming this on God. I am not crying upon this, because you know what? I am ready, because I have fought a good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. All these things, I have done them. So now, why is Paul writing this letter to Timothy? When you start from verse 1 of chapter 1, he would tell Timothy that, you know what, I know you, I know your grandmother who is Lois, I know your mother who is Eunice, I know their faith, of which I trust that they have groomed you in a certain way of a young man, and I have walked with you for a certain period, of which now I understand that you might be in a situation whereby now you are afraid. And maybe it takes us now back to the topic of our sermon tonight, which says, dunamis over phobos. These are two Greek words which, when they are broken down, they gives us a certain understanding of these two words. In the phobos, this phobos, it's a Greek, it can be a noun and it can be a verb. But in this situation, it was used as a verb, which means fear. And it is in fear or terror, fearing something which you are trying to create in your mind, that something might end up happening to me. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you create a situation and then so with that situation that you have created in your mind, now you are fearing of the situation which you created and which may never come to pass. So that's the fear we are talking about. And then he says to him, for God has not given us, for God has not given you the spirit of fear. And then my question comes and says, who gave us the spirit of fear? Like, are you in a situation whereby you are fearing now? The question is, where did you get that fear? Where do you get the liver, the courage to have that fear? If God didn't give it to you, who gave it to you? Or you went out and looked for it. He says to him, my boy, I understand your situation. You might be fearing for your life right now. You might be in terror. You might be afraid. You might be planning to run away from knowing me and getting attached to me. But let me tell you, my boy, God has not given you the spirit of fear. And then the question comes and say, if God did not give me the spirit, what did God give me? He says to him, for God has given you the spirit of dunamis. And then dunamis, dunamis comes to us, which is a word or a noun that comes from a verb dunamai. In dunamai, it says, or its translation is like to be able or to can or to be able to do something. And then dunamis is power, mighty, ability. So in other words, he is saying to him, God gave us the power and ability to be able to do whatever that comes before us. I don't know if I'm talking to someone right now, because we find ourselves in a situation whereby we are in fear of what might come up. Right now, we just began the year, and we might be fearing, not knowing what the year will bring for us. We are trying to imagine what last year was like to us, and then with the picture of how last year became and how last year treated us, we are trying to imagine or create this year. Before we even get into this year, we are trying to create a certain scenario or a certain picture of this year. And then now this word tonight is coming to us to say, who gave you the spirit of fear? Paul is saying to him, yes, I understand the way which you are in. It is here. It is the same. It is the very same way which is killing me now. I'm being killed by the thing you are in. They say in my language that when you see the well that swallowed your mother's child, when you see it, go beside it. But now Paul is saying something else to Timothy. He is saying to him, this very same well, don't go beside it. Don't go away from it. I understand it might be killing me right now, this same well. But let me tell you, my friend, this same well is not like it will also kill you. Go on with the mission. Continue forward and march forward with your mission. Dear friends, Paul was trying to unleash Timothy, who was in a situation of fear. Timothy, who was in a situation of terror. Timothy, who seemed like his life now he was also losing hope, to say, someone who I was looking at has left me. Who am I left with? It might be the situation which we might be in this evening. Some of us have lost our parents. Some of us have lost our partners, have lost our loved ones, have lost our children, have lost our jobs, have lost the opportunity to go to school, don't have money to go back to school, don't have money to register for this semester. We are struggling. We are in fear. We don't know what the future holds for us. Dear friends, Paul is saying to us this evening, God has not given you the spirit of fear. Where are you getting it? Stop creating it for yourself. Stop creating a scenario and then you start running away from it. How about you trust the God? Yes, it might lead you into trouble. Yes, it might end up not ending well. But if you have trusted him enough, like Paul, you would say this very same words. At the end of the day, I am ready to be poured out as a burning sacrifice, as a drink sacrifice. For what makes me ready, it is because I have fought a good fight. It is because I have finished my race. I was given the race. I did not fear to run. I ran it. And I didn't just run the race. I have kept the faith. Dear friends, it is the faith and the running of the race. Not only faith will keep us until the end. We need to also run. Don't just have faith and sit down. The year just began. Don't have faith and sit down. Get out there. Go and do something. It is the Sabbath. Sunday is coming. The beginning of week is coming. Go out there. Look for a job. Go out there. Start up something with faith. Run that race. Take off the fear. Leave it behind. Run that race and go get the prize. He continues on to say, finally, there is laid up a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. And not only to me, dear friends, he says not only to him, but to everyone who will, but to all who have loved his appearing. Are you willing to get this crown? Then why are you seated? It is not too late to start now. Start. For the preacher says in the book of Ephesians is, blessed is the end than the beginning thereof. It doesn't matter how you began. It doesn't matter whether you began late. It doesn't matter whether you went there very early. It doesn't matter at what age you began. Just start. Just begin and end well. At the end of the day, God shall call. And when he calls for his righteous and for his faithful ones, your name shall be part of the names.